Okay, it's 4:30, so we'll call this meeting of Dunn County Judicial and Law to order. First item of business, call the roll, and it looks like all the supervisors are here. Next is approval of the minutes from August. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Vandermeulen, second by Jetson. Any discussion on it, on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor of the minutes? Aye. Everyone vote aye, so the motion passes. Next, we'll move on to public comments. Is there any public comments? Okay. And next is staff reports, and first up is district attorney.
So the only addition that I have is I received an email this afternoon from the State Public Defender's Office. They provide a memorandum. The latest one was from 2015, dictating what the Public Defender's Office will pay for certain discovery, which is all of the paper documents and then the body cameras, squad cameras. And so previously we used to put those all on flash drives or discs, and then the flash drives and discs, I think, were not large enough to even hold that, and it was very time consuming. So now we have that Axon Justice, which we've been charging the same amount for private counsel as well as the public defenders, which is 3 cents per 5 megabytes of data, which turns out to be a fair amount. And so given the increased in discovery costs, I increased my 2026 budget of revenue to $40,000. And then I received an email today, all of the DA's offices around the state, that the state public defender has now put a cap of $10 on every case. And we spend way more than $10 on every case. So I don't know how this is going to pan out. We just all received the letter today, and I think they're trying to get in some discussions, but that could certainly decrease the revenue that my office brings in 2026. I emailed Dan Dunbar a copy of that, and I'll try to keep finance updated, but my revenue might go down quite a bit for 2026 if that is not changed. Otherwise, I have nothing else to share.
This is just a curiosity, Andrew. When I adopted my wife's son, that was through a termination of parental rights case. And what they did, I don't know if this is the state of Texas or generally, was to eliminate his first birth certificate and write a new one with my name on it, or at least not with the original biological parent's name on it. And I was curious, in the case of termination of rights of both parents, do they take them both off the birth certificate, or how is that handled?
I don't know. That doesn't deal with my office.
Okay.
After we just go through whether there's grounds for, TPR and then handle it from then on. Then I don't know if the judges or Katie could answer that question for you.
I believe the parties get to decide if they want to change and amend the vital record, but I'm going to defer to Judge Meyer because I know she's more familiar with this.
If they want to. That means redeem the child, those type of things.
Okay.
If you're in the military, you still need that old birth certificate as well.
That's kind of what I thought. There'd be circumstances where that would be needed. I also noted this is a juvenile. What happens to the juvenile in this case? Do they go into I'm forgetting the name of the agency that deals with the kids who are in this circumstance, but
Yeah, foster care?
yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't handle this case. One of the assistant district attorneys did, but every case is different. But usually we'd like to see that it go into an adoption. So they have some permanency and
Okay, thank you.
Andrea, when you said there's a cap of $10, was there not a cap before?
No,
Okay.
no, and well, it all depends, when you think of, yeah, some could be as little as $20. Some could be, hundreds of dollars. 10's a really big cut. They still, when we were trying to do flash drives, a thumb drive is still $5. They'll get reimbursed, and that's not even the cost of us burning all of, uploading the data, then burning it onto a flash drive, and then mailing it out. And they would only reimburse $5 of that, $5 per disk. So like with inflation, that price has not increased since 2015 either. So,
Who makes that decision or who?
so there's an administrative code that, and so DA's offices usually follow, we've just always followed what the public defender rate is. And then we charge private attorneys the same amount that we do public defenders. The county, if it wanted to pass a resolution or, consider its own, you could potentially do that, but the state public defenders would be reimbursed that same amount, which they have the right to do under Administrative Code Section PD 8.02. So it really wasn't a discussion. It was, they sent this out and effective January 1, 2026. And then we could charge $10 per link, which when you think of, we could do the squad camera as one link, the rear camera is another link, the body camera is another link. But we really don't want to do that. That's not an efficient way of, it's not our job to make money, but the thought is that it helps cover the costs of staff and personnel and our program to store and maintain all the data. And then we also, number it and compile it. They made it sound like it's an automated, everything's done electronically. It doesn't require any work, but that is certainly not the case. There's many offices that have hired just whole new positions for managing the large amount of discovery. So wait and see, I guess. It just was, there's a lot of emails and conversation going on among the DAs, but we just received it this afternoon.
Thanks,
So,
Andrea.
yep.
Any other questions for the DA? Okay, we'll move on to child support.
I don't think I have anything to add.
Do you know, this is just curiosity. Well, what's the reason to change it from child support service to child enforcement? Just curiosity.
Sort of like Andrea just said, it was sort of told to us. So I Googled OCSS and OCSE, and it routes you to the same place. And the title on the website is currently OCSS. But I'm wondering if, when you rebrand and you need to change like the stationery and the sign on the building and all of that, I don't think when they went to child support services, they hadn't actually done any of that work to formally rename buildings and offices and things. And I think it's perhaps a cost savings to just revert back to our old name so we don't have to change the paper.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing. Or, perhaps, some people want to go back to the enforcement as like a guiding principle of the child support agency. I'm not sure. But from with state Department of Children and Families, we're trying to get away from the enforcement and be more family centric and be allies instead of adversaries and walk alongside people and help, get people the resources they need in their community to be successful and compliant instead of enforcement has a negative connotation to it that as a state, we're trying to separate ourselves from.
Thanks, Josie. Any other questions? Yep.
Congratulations on your award there, 20 years of service. And I appreciate your perspective on the walking next to versus enforcing.
Yes, I'm not sure why there was a delay, but I actually had 21 years in September in the program. So I just got my 20-year certificate last month, I think, or last week, whenever I was in Madison. All the days are starting to blend together.
Okay, thank you, Josie. We'll move on to emergency management and 911.
I really don't have too much to add other than for a very, very short period of time, like a week and a half. Our office was full staffed. We had 2 people in training, so they weren't officially out working the schedule, but they were there. Unfortunately, Friday evening, I did have a resignation. One of our employees who had just started in July, and she was working well through training. Her fiance was in the military, and they got orders to move. And so she resigned Friday night. So, but it was glorious for that week and a half that we felt like we were almost there. So that was the only thing I had to add.
Any questions from Melissa? Okay,
I'd like
oh,
to
go
hear
ahead.
a little more about what Code Red is.
Sure. So, Code Red is a mass notification system that we have had in Dunn County for, probably close to 10 years, maybe, I suppose. And it was purchased back then just basically to notify the public or to be another notification system, to notify the public of things that are happening in the community in emergency status. Not everything has to be an emergency, like a boil water order, things like that. Mostly we tend to use it for missing persons, lockdowns in communities based on possibly an active shooter or a situation like that. Um, but we've been expanding its use because it has a lot of different things that you can use it for. So in the last year and a half or so, we've been trying to use it in different fashions. One of the things is to notify employees, all Dunn County employees, of a work situation. If the building is damaged, they're unable to come to work, we'd like to notify the employees. Another way that we're going to try and use it maybe this winter is for the highway shop for notification, or for calling in their plow drivers during severe weather situations. So we're trying to use it. We have the system, you pay the same amount. So we're just trying to learn different ways that we can use it. And any other department, if they come up with a situation that they feel we can use this Code Red for, we're more than willing to talk about it. But originally it's kind of a mass notification system, and can be used different ways. Emergency situations, routine. You can use it just to notify people, but then you can also send an information message out and they can respond saying, I received the message, I will be into work at 2:00 or whatever. So there's lots of different uses, but we just probably haven't been using it to its potential, but we're trying to do that now. So if you wanted to be notified on the mass notification side, you would have to sign up. There's a website that you can go to sign up. It's on our Dunn County website. There's a QR code, I think, too, that you can scan and sign up there. You can receive emergency notifications from us of things that are going on in our community. You can also sign up for severe weather in our area in Dunn County. And it's just another layer of notifications. I know we all get notifications on our phone of different things, weather apps that we've downloaded. The National Weather Service can notify you on a weather alert monitor. It's just another layer of notification for things. So all landlines in Dunn County should automatically be in this system. However, if you do not have a landline, which a lot of people in our community don't anymore, you have to manually sign up then with your cell phone number. So,
That's one of the reasons I asked.
Yep.
Thank you.
yep.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. We'll move on to medical examiner, and Marcy is at a conference today. So any questions on her report? Okay, next we'll move on to sheriff. And he is also not with us. Any questions on his report? I just see, my wife will be excited when Bloodline Detectives is on ID channel. And we'll get the, looks like he got interviewed for that, so. Next,
And further, the name Jason Stalker.
yes.
It's such a great, fictional name.
Next we'll move on to courts.
I don't have anything else to add. I guess we do have another jury trial tomorrow. So we've gone quite a few months without having any jury trials, and we've had 4 the month of September. So very busy jury trial calendar for the month of September. But unless there's questions, I don't have any other updates at this point.
Okay, thanks, Katie. Next we'll move on to CJCC.
Just a couple updates and to kind of raise the profile of a couple things. We have a caseworker that started with the sheriff's office as far as the Project Hope law enforcement deflection and diversion program, Lindsay Mallison. So she's coming to us with a lot of experience and is hitting the ground running. So she's partnering with our behavioral health officer, Dylan Christ. So that's going well. And then we spent a good portion of last week with the sheriff's office updating the grant that supports that staff position and some other things. So we got that submitted for another year of funding for that program. And then I just wanted to highlight that a couple of the CJCC programs are under review with a priority-based budgeting process. So we have treatment court and our treatment opportunity program that we were able to offer up some cost savings opportunities to not fill a position that we have a support position. And then we also have some new revenue generating opportunities in 2026. Those are both grant funded programs partially and then levy funded partially. So just want to give a little update on that. That's all.
Any questions for Sarah? Okay, next we'll move on to items placed at the request of the chair. This is new, so this was, when I was on administrative council, we would get the receipts, and I just thought it would be nice to see all the judicial aspects here. So these are all receipts from everybody that sits on this committee. So there's nothing that we need to do on it. It's just more for if you have questions or observations. So any questions on expenditures? Okay. Next, we'll move on to item 7. Consideration of actions to be taken by the judiciary and law. There's none. Next is announcements. Anybody have any announcements? And their next meeting will be October 27th, 2025. Meeting's adjourned.